Hi, Fitbones here. I'm going to give you a real life review of the CF Moto 450 Twin. Maybe you've been thinking of getting one. Maybe you've had a test ride on one but you didn't have the opportunity to test ride it off-road, so you're not really sure what the capabilities of the bike really are. Well, hopefully by the end of watching this video it'll give you a better impression and might persuade you one way or the other. A mate and I have just returned from New Zealand, where we picked up two CF Motos, one with approximately 16,000 miles on the clock, the other nearly new with about 500 kilometres on the clock. And we've ridden them on most of the off-road trails that the South Island has to offer, and we've also covered a little bit of the North Island, but for the purposes of this review it's really about what the bike's capable of. I'll run the pros and cons as the video progresses and see what you think. If you've got any comments, got any questions, drop them in the comment box below. Okay, hope you enjoy. There's the CF 450. There's only one drawback. I've got these panniers, but they're giving me a bit of a width.
Yeah, they're wider than I am fat.
They're wider than you are fat, yeah. These are the guys we're renting from. Epic Motorcycles. There they go.
Hiya.
Kidding them all up.
Hello.
Say hello.
How are you?
Okay, let's go through the pros and cons of this CF Moto. One of the first pros got to be the fact that it's an A2 license friendly adventure motorcycle, which means those people who can't afford luxury expensive adventure bikes can start their adventures on a much more economically priced motorcycle. Second feature is the KYB suspension, which is very good from the get-go. It handles every condition we met, and as standard I reckon you can tackle most things. Perhaps maybe reducing the stiffness a little if you're on very rocky terrain, but otherwise very good suspension. It has adjustable preload, compression and rebound damping on the front, and it has preload and rebound damping only on the rear. Fuel economy, generally pretty good, around 3.5 to 5.5 litres per 100 kilometres, or 42 to 65 miles per gallon, depending on how you ride of course, and it has a 17.5 litre tank. That said, if you're doing a lot of off-road riding in low gears, it's going to use a bit more, or if you're on the tarmac at high speeds with heavy winds, you're going to use more. Switchable ABS, this is a real plus. You can turn the traction control and ABS off at the back wheel, keep the ABS at the front wheel on, which worked really well when braking hard on gravel and gave us a huge amount of confidence on some of those very steep downhill gravelly tracks. Switch is operated on the fly by a little button on the left switch gear. Yes, the bike has a good ergonomic triangle, which makes comfortable riding on long distances very easy, and also the ability to stand up when you're riding tricky terrain, equally acceptable on a bike like this. Vibration, pretty well none to be honest. It's a very relaxed, non-vibey bike, being a twin of course and having balancers, so vibe really isn't a big issue with this bike. The clutch is a cable pull, pretty light, and that allows for easy use when going up and down the gears. Power delivery is pretty smooth, doesn't have a snatch or lag like some of the cheaper Chinese bikes I've ridden. It is cable, so not ride-by-wire, so it doesn't have any rider modes. Some people have said that the earlier models were a bit snatchy at low throttle. We didn't find this particularly. It has an adjustable screen, which you can do again on the fly by a little switch on the left-hand side, which allows you to have better visibility when off-road and reduce wind buffet when you're on the tarmac. The bike comes with tubeless tyres, which makes life considerably easier when you're off-road and you get a puncture. An interesting point is CF Moto and KTM share some of the same manufacturing plants, so engineering and quality control is very similar. They also share a number of component parts such as switchgear and electronics like Bosch. Interesting also is that Moto Marini's just launched a new 450 off-road bike which uses exactly the same engine, and I suspect we're going to see a few more bikes coming out in the next few years using this engine. Of course, the big standout feature is the price. There's no argument here, it's fantastic value for money. It's a very capable bike, as we found out after 12,000 kilometres of some very punishing rides. We had no faults or issues. Comes with a TFT screen, USB A and C charging point, adjustable suspension, adjustable screen, switchable ABS, tubeless tyres, and an option of a comfort seat. That's a pretty good starting point for a low budget bike. And on to the cons. For serious off-road, you're will need to buy an aftermarket bash plate and bars, although this applies to many other bikes, not just CF Moto. Neutral, we did find both bikes occasionally difficult to get into neutral. My bike a little bit more than Richard's, perhaps because mine was a bit newer and had done less miles. Access to spares and service, this is a worry that a lot of people have, though I think that will change over the next year or so with more people using the CF Moto engine and more people coming to the market to sell these very capable bikes. Overall reliability, given the global sales, we spoke to an ex-KTM dealer, in fact in Adelaide, who dropped KTM to sell CF Moto exclusively and claim they see far less people back with faults of these bikes than they did with KTM, so time will tell. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and you'll get to see the full New Zealand trip on this site.